Have you ever wondered why the men who care less win more? Why the ones who don't chase somehow get chased? It's not luck, it's emotional war, and Stoicism is your silent weapon. Most men were never taught this. We were raised to please, to chase validation, to believe that if we give enough, love enough, or prove enough, we'll finally be chosen. But here's the bitter truth. Neediness repels. It suffocates desire. Women don't crave your obsession. They crave your presence, detached, grounded, unfazed. That's the first emotional gap, and it's brutal. You care too much, too early. You pour your energy into women who haven't earned it. You overinvest. You overthink. You try to solve them, fix them, win them. And she feels it. The second she senses you're wrapped around her finger, her biology rewires, her attraction fades. You become invisible. Now listen to me. The Stoic man does the opposite. He withholds. He stays centered in his own world. He doesn't react to every shift in her mood. He doesn't chase the high of attention or crumble at the threat of distance. His power comes from his ability to sit in silence and not break. This isn't about manipulation. It's about self-mastery. Because when a man is emotionally disciplined, he becomes rare. And in a world drowning in overexposed, overstimulated, overly emotional men, rarity is attraction. So I'll tell you what no one else will. Your detachment is magnetic. Not because it's cold, but because it's controlled. You don't flinch when she pulls back. You don't beg for her time. You stay rooted. You watch. You observe. And that distance, that space you create, that's the vacuum she feels and wants to fill. While other men are drowning in emotion, you become the eye of the storm. That's your first gap. And it's not a weakness. It's your edge. She may not say it out loud, but the part of you that she truly respects, the part she craves, is the part you don't give so easily. In a world full of emotional noise, be the quiet man who doesn't need to prove a damn thing. Because that man, he doesn't chase approval. He attracts desire. The second emotional gap, it's not just discipline, it's delay. In a culture where everything is instant, texts, swipes, likes, men have become emotionally impulsive. The moment we feel something, we act. We confess too soon. We respond too fast. We give too much, too quickly. But the Stoic man, he waits. This isn't about playing games. This is about commanding time. You see, emotion isn't always truth. Sometimes it's weakness in disguise. Lust will scream at you to act now. Loneliness will whisper that you need her. Ego will beg you to respond. But the man who delays wins. Because delay gives you clarity. Every second you hold off, you reclaim power. You give space for perspective. You stop letting your emotions drag you by the collar like a slave. You slow down and ask, is this impulse leading me or misleading me? When a woman pushes your buttons, goes cold, acts distant, tests your masculinity, what do most men do? They fold, they text, they chase. But you don't react. You don't even flinch. You wait. And in that delay, she feels something primal, mystery. She doesn't know what you're thinking. She doesn't know if she still has you. She starts to question her grip, her beauty, her power over you. That's not cruelty. That's nature. Because in relationships, mystery isn't optional. It's essential. And here's what they'll never admit. A woman respects the man who doesn't rush, who doesn't spill his heart in the first week, who doesn't need to prove his worth in words, but lets his energy speak instead. The Stoic man understands something most men will never learn. Intensity fades, intrigue lasts. When you delay your emotions, you create space for air to lean in. And that leaning in, that's the real seduction. The world taught you to act fast. I'm telling you, pause. Let her wonder. Let her reach. Let her earn access to your soul. Because every second you wait, every message you don't send, every silence you let stretch longer than she expects, you become unforgettable. Delay is your second emotional gap. And the man who can wait is the man she never forgets. There's a storm inside every woman. Emotions rise and fall without warning. One moment she's warm, the next she's cold. She pulls you close, then pushes you away. And most men, they crumble under this pressure. They try to fix it. They ask questions. They get confused, anxious, even angry. But here's what the Stoic man understands. You are not here to match her chaos. You are here to anchor it. The third emotional gap, the one that separates powerful men from the rest, is emotional certainty. It's the unshakable presence that says, I don't need you to be okay for me to be okay. That certainty doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from inner peace, from mastery, from a calm that's been forged in the fire of solitude. Most men rely on external feedback. If she texts back, he feels good. If she's distant, he feels insecure. His emotional state is reactive. He's constantly seeking validation. But a man who embodies Stoicism has a core so solid, no woman's mood can move it, and she can feel it. It's in the way you hold eye contact without trying to impress. It's in the way you let her speak without rushing to fix her emotions. It's in the way you don't flinch when she throws her tests at you. Because deep down, she doesn't want you to solve her storm. She wants to know you're not afraid of it. Emotional certainty is rare. It's why she'll obsess over the man who doesn't panic when she pulls back. Why she'll test you harder when you don't bend to her drama, and why she'll respect you more when you walk away rather than beg. You are not here to manage her emotions. You are here to govern your own. That's what gives you power. That's what makes you different. That's what makes her crave your energy instead of control it. She doesn't want to dominate a man. She wants to surrender to one. But she'll only surrender to a man whose center cannot be shaken, whose calm cannot be bought, whose soul cannot be pulled out of alignment, no matter how beautiful she is. That man is rare. That man is stoic. And emotional certainty, that's the third gap that turns lust into devotion. Let me tell you something no one will dare say out loud. Your availability is a currency, and most men, they spend it like it's worthless. Always there, always answering, always ready, and in doing so, they cheapen themselves. The fourth emotional gap is controlled availability, knowing the power of being selective with your time, your attention, your presence. Because the truth is brutal, what is always accessible is rarely valued. You want to be the man she craves. Stop giving yourself away so easily. You think texting back fast shows interest. No, it shows need. You think dropping everything for her proves your love. No, it proves you have no mission more important than her. But the Stoic man, he's not so easy to reach. Not because he's playing games, because he's busy building, because he has standards, because he knows his value. He's present when he chooses to be, but never available by default. And women feel this, not in what you say, but in your absence, in your pauses, in the spaces you create. That space becomes a mirror, and in it she sees herself chasing a man who doesn't need to be chased. Here's the paradox no one taught you. The less she's sure of you, the more she desires you. Not because you're cruel, because you have options. Because you're a man of purpose, not obsession. Because you live for more than just her approval. And when she feels that you're not always reachable, she starts to question her own place. That uncertainty, that's what makes her invest. That's what makes her work harder. That's what makes her show up in a way she never does for men who make her the center of their lives. Controlled availability is not about neglect. It's about respect. For yourself, for your time, for your journey. It says, I choose who I give myself to, and when. So, stop being the man who's always waiting. Start being the man who's always building. Because when you're focused on your path, when your phone is silent because your life is loud, when your energy isn't scattered but sacred, you become scarce. And in a world of men who give too much, too fast, scarcity is power. That's your fourth gap. And if you master it, you'll never chase again. There is a moment in every man's life where he must choose. Do I want control or do I want peace? Because the fifth emotional gap, the one that unlocks everything, is indifference to outcome. Not apathy, not carelessness, but a deep, grounded knowing that you'll be okay, no matter how it ends. Most men live in fear of the outcome. They fear rejection. They fear abandonment. They fear that if they don't play it perfectly, she'll leave. And in that fear, they give away all their power. But the Stoic man, he walks into every relationship knowing this. If she stays, I remain grounded. If she leaves, I remain grounded. That's terrifying to her, because for once, she meets a man she can't manipulate with sex, silence, or seduction. A man who enjoys her, but doesn't need her. A man who can love and still let go. When you become indifferent to outcome, you no longer bend your behavior just to be chosen. You stop over-analyzing her words. You stop fearing her tests. You stop needing the situation to work out. Because you finally realize the only thing you were ever meant to master is yourself. This makes you dangerous. Not to her, but to the system. To the world that trained men to seek approval instead of purpose. To the culture that told you your worth depended on her attention. You don't just walk away when disrespected, you disappear. Not out of spite, but out of peace. Because you're not addicted to drama. You're addicted to clarity, to freedom, to your own center. And that's the paradox. The moment you no longer need her to choose you, she wants you more. Because now she's dealing with a man she can't shake. A man who doesn't flinch. A man who isn't performing for her affection. She starts chasing the feeling of security you carry. The calm, the power, the refusal to be moved by outcomes. And if she walks away, you don't chase, you don't beg, you don't collapse. Because your value doesn't live in her opinion. It lives in your discipline, in your stillness, in your indifference to what you cannot control. That's not weakness. That's invincibility. Here's the final truth, and it separates the imitators from the immortal. Your energy is sacred. Not your words, not your looks, not your game, your energy. But most men, they spill it, waste it, give it away in every conversation, every validation-seeking gesture, every time they chase a woman who hasn't earned them. They don't just lose energy, they lose essence, and women feel it, even if they never say it out loud. They can sense when a man is full of himself, not in ego, but in wholeness. They can sense when he's not looking to be completed by anyone, because he's already complete. The sixth emotional gap is the hardest to cross, because it requires you to reclaim your power at its source, your attention, your intention, your seed. Sex isn't just physical, it's spiritual, it's energetic warfare. And every time you give yourself to a woman without discernment, you lower your frequency, you dilute your drive, you soften your edge. You think it's just pleasure, but it's your purpose leaking out of you. The Stoic man doesn't avoid intimacy, he masters it. He doesn't chase it. He chooses it when it aligns with his mission. He isn't enslaved by his urges. He harnesses them. Because when you stop being ruled by lust, you become unstoppable. You move with clarity. You speak with weight. You become a man who walks into a room and commands it, not with noise, but with presence. And women, they sense it instantly. They can't control you. They can't own you. And that makes them want you more than the man who gives everything. Your life force is the most powerful currency you possess. Don't trade it for cheap moments. Don't spill it on people who haven't earned it. Don't give your essence to those who only drain it. Every second of your focus, every ounce of your attention, every drop of your energy must be treated like gold. Because when you protect it, when you guard your kingdom, when you move like a god among men, she feels it. The world feels it, and you finally become the one thing no woman can forget, a man who chose himself. Not out of arrogance, but out of truth, because the man who owns his energy owns everything.